Welcome back to episode 2 of Parenting is a Lifestyle. The quality of food matters. Ultra-processed foods and why we need to limit them. Parenting is a Lifestyle is your go-to space for evidence-based health tips, family wellness, and living well every day, where the health and well-being of your child is the central focus. After all, we all share the goal of raising happy, healthy children. I'm Dr. Richa Agnihotri, a Canadian community pediatrician and diplomat of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. I started this podcast to help increase health literacy for parents, children, and communities. As I share with my families, it fuels me to see children thrive. To have thriving kids, we need to help parents thrive too. After all, it takes a village. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects all of us, especially parents, and that is ultra-processed foods. What are they? Why are they a concern? And how can we reduce them in our diets for ourselves and our kids? Let's explore how we can make healthier food choices today and in the future. Ultra-processed foods are those that have been heavily modified from their natural state. They often contain added salt, sugar, fat, preservatives, and artificial colors, ingredients that enhance flavor, texture, and shelf life, but compromise nutritional value. I'll delve into this as we go. According to Canada's Food Guide, which is based on a wide body of nutritional research, we really need to be focusing on eating foods that are mostly whole. The less processed, the better for our health. The more processed, the lower the nutritional value. And the guide recommends limiting ultra-processed foods because the quality of food matters. So what are Canadians eating? This might be tough to hear, but we need to face it head on. We do better when we know better. Ultra-processed foods make up nearly half of what Canadians eat daily. Though it might not feel like it, the food choices we make impact not only our health, but also the habits and health of the next generation, particularly when kids are forming their food preferences, flavors, textures, that sort of thing. Parents, the choices that you make today will shape your child's health for years to come. This is meant to empower you and not to shame you or bring in any negative feelings. In fact, to paraphrase Dr. Brené Brown's shame research, we really can't make positive changes when we are feeling ashamed. Now let's talk about a recent Canadian study published in JAMA that followed over 2,200 children for 3 years. The findings suggest children as young as 3 years of age were getting 45% of their daily calories from ultra-processed foods. Now, thinking back, and we will dive into it a little bit more, ultra-processed foods have a lot of additive ingredients, and that includes salt and saturated fat, among other things, preservatives, but less nutritional value. And their minds and their bodies are growing and developing, a prime opportunity for learning. So this is a time that optimal nutrition is necessary. Now, the study found that a direct link between ultra-processed food consumption and the development of obesity, particularly in boys, was higher. And researchers even urged public health initiatives to educate parents and caregivers on reducing ultra-processed food intake to prevent obesity in early childhood. But the risks don't end with weight gain. Studies show a troubling connection between ultra-processed foods and higher risks of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, sleep disorders, and mental health issues like depression and anxiety. Kids with ADHD also tend to have a higher intake of ultra-processed foods. These foods can impact learning, memory, and test performance. And to add to the alarm, ultra-processed foods have been shown to have an addictive effect, quite possibly. So this research is still mounting. So what can we do about it? The first step is identifying the issue. What exactly is an ultra-processed food? So we discussed what it is in simple terms, but let's dive a little bit deeper. To understand how food is processed, we can look at the NOVA classification, a system developed by food scientists that categorizes foods based on the degree of processing. There are 4 groups, and the more processed a food, the lower the nutritional value. So group 1, ultra-processed or minimally processed foods. So think fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, eggs, seafood, meat. These are your healthiest choices. They are full of macro and micro ingredients that fuel the body and mind. This is foundational for both children and adults. In group 2, these are classified as processed culinary ingredients. Ingredients such as oil, salt, sugar. These come from natural sources, but they undergo some processing. These are used to cook and enhance food. Group 3 are processed foods. They're often created by combining group 1 and 2 ingredients. Examples include canned beans, cheese, bread, pickled vegetables even. And group 4 are your ultra-processed foods. These foods look and taste nothing like their original ingredients, and they're often loaded with preservatives, artificial flavors, and other ingredients that require factory production. Think chips, sweetened breakfast cereals, soda, cookies, instant noodles, hot dogs, and so on. Now, it can be tricky to identify which category your food falls into, but it is worth understanding. So be patient with yourself on this learning journey and be compassionate and kind. A few general rules of thumb that may be helpful include choosing foods that don't have a nutrition label because they are single ingredients, such as whole foods in group 1, like an apple. An apple doesn't usually come with a nutrition label, but interestingly contains more nutrients than we realize, including soluble and insoluble fiber, which has many positive effects, and those effects are still being studied, but positive impacts on the gut and gut microbiome and potentially our overall health. It also contains antioxidants and phytonutrients, which also has positive effects on our health. If you're choosing something processed, for example in group 3, aim for options with fewer ingredients. So look at the ingredients label and opt for a loaf of bread with just a few ingredients, like if you were to bake it yourself or get it from a local bakery, rather than bread filled with additional additives. And ideally choose foods that you can make at home rather than prepackaged options that are made in factories. Now, take a moment to reflect on your average 24-hour food intake. How much ultra-processed food do you typically have? How about your kids? How can you add one more vegetable or whole food into your meals this week? The goal isn't to overwhelm you or to feel guilty. These foods, the ultra-processed foods, are part of modern life, but we do have some control where we can be mindful about the quantity and quality of our food, but of course within our own barriers and resources, which I will touch upon shortly. But when we know better, we can do better. Remember to give yourself grace. The goal is progress, not perfection. The key isn't how much ultra-processed food you've been eating, but how much more whole food you add going forward. Every single fruit and veggie, every single whole food that you add daily has immeasurable benefit to your health. And the food choices that we make are contextual. Access to fresh food, food insecurity, and daily stressors, these are all influential on our ability to access nutritious food and the decisions we make around the food that we bring home. Many families are facing immense pressures, and it's okay if healthy choices are not always possible. My hope is that you've learned something today and feel ready to take one small action. You don't have to change everything overnight, one step at a time. So how can we start making these changes? Sometimes it's easier to add something than to remove something. So start by adding one vegetable, fruit, grain, or protein, a plant-based protein ideally, to each meal. Eat more fruits, vegetable, and whole foods, and studies have actually shown there's an association with improved health and mental well-being. Also, eating more fruits, vegetables, and whole foods will fuel your child's developing brain. It's a win-win. Another tip is to involve children in the process. Even young children can help wash veggies or set the table. It's a great way to foster a positive relationship with food and have fun as a family, an opportunity for connection. Try swapping ultra-processed snacks like chips or cookies for healthier homemade alternatives. For example, try carrots with homemade hummus. It will take time to adjust, but with consistent effort, the changes will pay off. Remember, we're thinking long-term here. So each day may be a little bit more challenging, but over time, with repeated introductions and practice and modeling. So if you want your kids to enjoy vegetables, you need to enjoy vegetables too. Eating dinner together is a very important strategy to improve your own health and well-being, and also that of your children. Now, back to the comment of the time to adjust. It will take time to adjust. So we're playing the long game here, but every little bit counts. Isn't that empowering? For breakfast, consider replacing sugary cereals with oatmeal topped with frozen berries or chopped nuts. Just making sure that it's safe and appropriate for the child at the age that they are, so make sure you clear that with your child's doctor. So it's quick, healthy, and your kids will love it. I know these changes can be challenging, but if we commit to one step at a time, we'll be building a healthier future for ourselves and our children. In closing, parents, remember this journey is about progress, not perfection. Focus on making more informed choices that benefit your family's long-term health. Start with one small, realistic change. Get the whole family involved, perhaps as a dinner conversation, and be kind to yourself along the way. Small, consistent actions lead to big change. I'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments and on social media. How do you feel about making these changes? What small adjustments do you think could work best for your family? What changes have worked for you? Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Parenting is a Lifestyle. Stay healthy, stay informed, and we'll catch you next time with more tips for living your best life. Before we wrap up, if you're looking for more support, don't forget to join the waitlist for our Healthy Habits Empowerment Program. Remember, the quality of your child's life today sets the tone for their future. You are already doing the best you can, and that is enough. In our next episode, we'll explore another pillar of lifestyle medicine to discuss how small, impactful changes can help you thrive as a parent. At Lifestyle Parenting, we meet you where you are, with empathy, compassion, and without judgment. Our motto is, it's never too early and never too late to build healthy habits, so start today. Thank you for being a part of this community. If you found value in this podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue the conversation and build a future where parents and kids thrive together.
It's never too early, it's never too late to build health.